Hello, my name is Dr. Rachel Monteverdi. This is your Powering Women in Mid-Career Coaching Overview. So buckle up, take some notes, and recognize that we have 4 pod coaching sessions. And if you'll notice on the map, each of your pod coaching sessions is immediately after one of the mastery sessions. So get ready and note the dates on your schedule so that you can prepare for the sessions. In order to prepare, you really want to review the materials and your goals, the things that you've stated in your IDPs or things that you've stated in your Canvas. Set an intention on how you choose to be. And if there's something you really specifically would like to work on, such as radical candor or the trust equation, let us know ahead of time so that we can make that time and make that space for you to practice appropriately. Bring a pen and paper. We always ask you to write things down and bring your Canvas, your developmental goal. We want to talk about them. When we land into this session, the goal is to clear our heads because we've all come from different places. So if you could help us to clear our heads by doing a quick body scan or some box breathing or something of your choice to clear out the saboteurs in our heads and to get us fully present in the moment, turn off all the technology and really focus on each other. That would be so incredibly helpful. The aim of pod coaching and the power of pod coaching is to really deepen the understanding of those mastery topics that we talked about, identifying those patterns and those blockers and those accelerators that help you, putting those truths on the table. This is what's really going on in order to shape our actions with intentions and to work towards those goals. It takes confidentiality. It takes the willingness to come and to be courageous. The willingness to provide the space for psychological safety is so incredibly important for straight talk and for curiosity, not judgment, in order to fully disclose what's really going on. Remember that we will go through all of the different pieces of the journey, and including strengths, including your canvas, including the radical candor that we are striving for, and recognizing that our inner game, what we think, what we feel, what we believe to be true, is directly impacting our outer game, the performance in those behaviors that impact. So know that we do all wear armor. And so how can we lighten the load with that armor? And how can we really step into our values intentionally and honoring those values? What are we doing as far as trust? What do we need to build trust? And what do others need from us in order to build trust? So we will really dive deep into all of these subjects and including the mastery session that we just attended. The goal is to recognize how are we stretching ourselves in that moment of choice. We said the power of the pause is tremendous. So what are we doing with that opportunity to pause? Write down your intention, as I said previously, and come with goals. Communicate those goals if there's something you need to practice. But as you land, decide who is going to be the timekeeper and who's going to catch the insights for the group and to send those back out to the group. Again, it's confidential, but we do want to take note of where we were and where we are in order to help one another. Ask those powerful questions. You are coaching each other, so listening is really key. That level 2, level 3 listening, so that we're not just listening to the words, but we're listening to the emotion, the energy, the things that are not being said. Deepen the learning. In order to make meaning, we have to reflect. So linking back to each of the mastery sessions, reflecting on those mastery sessions, now that we've slept on it, and now that we've gone into the workplace, how are we actually doing with regard to what we're talking about? So specifically for bias, our mastery session 1, what are you recognizing in yourself and in others and in the workplace? What are you trying? It's that, so what? Now what? Now what are we doing with the information that we've learned and how are we applying it? And then what support might we need in order to elicit a new response? So when you've done some investing in me work that you want to share, we highly recommend that you do that in our coaching pod sessions. In fact, we also recommend that you share with each other when it's not a facilitated coaching pod session. You can have sessions of your own. We call them Friendly Fun Fridays. Just check in for 15 minutes and say, hey, there's something I'd like to do differently. Can you lend me a little bit of support here? Develop those relationships across the cohort. For empathy, again, how is empathy resonating with you now that we've discussed empathy, which is Mastery Session 2? How are you using those tools that we provided you? For M3, just say it. What are you doing as far as communication goes? Communication makes the world go round. We all know that we need to communicate effectively. So are we being passive? Are we being aggressive? Are we smack in the middle? And then how are we setting those boundaries when we need to have important conversations? And what are we doing with the other gifts from that session? With influencing, we know that there are 5 pillars that are all incredibly important. Purpose, and having a specific purpose and looking at our words and our body language is important. What is our power position? And what type of financial and business acumen do we have? And what type of financial and business acumen do we need? How are we doing in increasing our influence in everyday situations? What are you doing with the conversations that we've had? And what are you doing also with the tools? And how can we be a support to one another? We really want you to shine. So at the end of your journey, if you'll notice, at the very end of your journey, we will have a milestone celebration and that your journey continues on. We know that, but in that celebration, we want to celebrate what you've learned. So although we won't discuss it in our pod coaching sessions, we do want you to connect as a pod group or in partners and determine specifically what you would like to teach back to us. You've learned it so well that you can teach it throughout the organization, we hope. And so there is no wrong way that you can teach this. We encourage you to be incredibly creative, and there is a whole video on the celebration session. So please do take a look at that. Always looking at reflection and always looking at what we took away from our time together, and then the action moving forward. It's that so what, now what? And now what are we going to do with that? We know your journey continues after the 6 months that we spend together. So please know we want to hear from you. Your successes, the things, great things that you're doing now, and your challenges. We are all here for you and we're rooting for you and believe in you. So contact us if you need us.